This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. I'd like to be joined by 4-0 heavyweight prospect Sol Dacres. Sol, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Shane Watson tells me you're out in Germany. What's that about?
Yeah, just got a call up for some sparring. They got in touch with Shane and S Jam, just asking for couple of weeks of sparring. One German heavyweight, Granit Xhaka is 11-0, fighting soon. So just come out here, get some good work in, and get a little sort of holiday at the same time.
How's that been so far? The sparring, not the holiday.
Yeah, it's good. I just got here Sunday, sparred on Monday. Gonna spar him tomorrow, Friday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the next 2 weeks. And the sparring's good, he's decent. It's quite sharp.
Why are they kind of picking you out for sparring? Are you getting more well known across in Europe?
Maybe so. I don't really know. Shane from my management just dropped me the message and said they're requesting me. Maybe I think he's fighting my last opponent, Espindola, in his next
Okay.
fight. So maybe they wanted to pick my brains a bit about him as well.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
was just last month at the O2, Kevin Espindola, obviously dominant performance. How do you reflect on it now?
Yeah, it was a good performance. When I'm watching it back, I picked some nice shots in there, and he's not been stopped. And as a heavyweight, if you've not been stopped in a few fights, you've got some toughness. He's a real tough guy. So I don't take nothing away from myself that I didn't stop. I would have liked to have stopped him, but it's one of those. You get those guys that are tough, and sometimes they're not going anywhere in just 6 to 8 rounds. But it was a good performance, though. Otherwise.
You've also dominated Kamil Sokolovsky, who's kind of a bit of a bogeyman. He's upset a few prospects and probably should have got more decisions in the past than he has. You clearly defeated him, one of the few to do so. Are you at a stage now where you're getting a little bit kind of eager to push on, even though you've only had 4 fights? It seems like your level's above the competition currently.
Yeah, definitely. I want to be a bit more tested, a bit more challenged. I feel like with the Sokolovsky fight, some people wait a few more fights to be fighting him, if not avoiding him. Just got him out of the way. My last opponent, people aren't going to be fighting early on guys that have had, you know, over 10 fights and never been stopped. These guys that rarely get stopped, they want to build it up with guys that have, had a few stoppages on losses on their record, and I'm not about that. I want to get the rounds in, get the work in, and build myself. So going forward, when I fight someone that's a bit more game to fight back, a bit more technical, that's when I'm going to pick them apart and get more stoppages, I think.
Well, your promotional stablemate Fabio Wardley is the English champion currently, but he'll be bidding for the British pretty soon. Perhaps he'll give that up, and you might get an opportunity to fight for the English.
Yeah, that's something I'm looking at, definitely. Next fight or the fight after the English is get myself into a 10 rounder. I'm ready for that sort of level, so why not?
Do you ever kind of compare yourself to the other prospects in your weight, especially in the UK? There's quite a few coming up at the moment. Do you look at what they're doing, the opponents they're fighting, that kind of thing?
I don't really compare myself. I just worry about myself. I know my own ability. So when we cross paths, and I'm confident. But you do see that I'm fighting guys, and after I'm beating them, they seem to be getting fights afterwards. A few of my last few opponents, um, they're getting more fights after I've beat them. Same with like Sokolovsky. Um, Even my first two opponents, Torreiro and Manev, they had about 5, 6 fights after that. When people have seen I've beaten them, they thought I'll get them in now. You know what I mean? And so I sort of have a look like that, but I focus on myself really.
And now 4 fights into the pro career, and obviously mixing good company as well. Do you feel you've completely adapted from the amateur side of the sport now?
I'm adapting well, but it's always an ongoing process. Even if I've adapted to the pros, I'm still learning. Boxing's boxing at the end of the day. And until I reach my goals, I'm not going to say I'm completely where I want to be. Until I'm a 12-round world champion, that's where I want to be. Then I'll say, maybe the job's done. But at the moment, I'm always improving. I'm just trying to be a better fighter, regardless, amateur or pro.
The vast majority of top champions and contenders in your division are the wrong side of 30, or the other side of 30, I shouldn't say the wrong side. So it must be pretty kind of bright future when you look at it, because once you get there, obviously there'll be a number of other up and comers like you, but the main guys now probably won't be there any longer.
Yeah, potentially. It's maybe a new wave coming in,
Mm.
and the early thirties is still young for a heavyweight. You're looking at mid to late thirties where you they might be on the descent. If you look after yourself well in this game as a heavyweight, you're maturing. If anything, it's just about taking least punishment. But like you say, there might be a new wave coming over the next 2, 3, 4 to 5 years, and I want to be sort of riding the top of that wave.
How is your kind of learning coming from compared to sparring and the actual in-ring fights? What are you getting more from at the moment, or is it a balance between the two?
Bit of both. Earlier my opponents, like you said, my last two, they've been tough guys. Technically not great, but tough guys that have given me the solid rounds. I'm learning to pace myself 8 rounds. I've been doing so. I've got two good 8 rounders in the ring there. Technically not as challenged, but
Mm.
pace wise and everything like that, getting through the rounds I've learned. And in sparring, still learning technically as well. Like probably guys that are a bit better. Like Joyce, I'm sparring Joe Joyce regular. Someone that I can keep building on all the time and working with him's good work. So it's a balance of both sparring and the fighting.
What do you make of his next fight, Joseph Parker? Looks like a tricky one on paper.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think Joyce can stop him over the late rounds. To be honest, if he just keeps juggernauting him like he always does, pummeling him in and take. He wants to not take too many shots, but I think we all know we can take a dig. Joyce and he just puts the pressure on, and I think he'll overwhelm Parker.
You've been sparring Joyce for quite a while now. Have you seen improvements in him gradually over the time you've worked with him?
Yeah, he's been working with Ishmael Salas, going over to there, coming back, and you see the sort of little things that he's tweaking all the time. He makes little technical adjustments. You can see he listens to Salas when I'm sparring him. He'll tell him certain things, and you can see him adapting. I think he's got a good relationship there where he's trusting in what Salas is telling him, and it's working for him.
Now, another former Team GB heavyweight, another Olympic medalist as well, is in action on Saturday, trying to get his world titles back, Anthony Joshua. Someone you've sparred a number of times in the past as well. Before I ask you about that fight specifically, have you done any work with Usyk at all? Have your paths ever crossed?
Nah, I've never sparred with Usyk, never really seen him or anything like that. It would be something that would be good. To be fair,
Mm.
definitely get some rounds in with him. He's a top operator, quality guy. So maybe at some point, maybe in the future, I could get some rounds in with him.
What did you make of the first fight between him and Joshua, particularly AJ's approach, which has drawn quite a lot of criticism since?
Yeah, I suppose he didn't really know what maybe to expect. He thought, yeah, he had one game plan in his head. It didn't work. He tried to outbox the master boxer.
Mm.
He needs to use his attributes, go forward, put it on him, and you know, uh, he sort of go out on his shield. Put it on him. If you don't get him out of there, you just put everything out there to do it. The first 6 rounds, he's got to set a sort of pace, make Usyk uncomfortable. He was comfortable the last fight. He was at a comfortable pace really, and Usyk dominated.
Will you get to watch the rematch out there? Is it easy to access?
Not sure, I have to see on what it's on the zone or whatever. I think it's obviously Sky Sports, isn't it, in
In the
UK? But I think
UK.
it's still zone around the world, so I'll have to look. Unless it's pay per view, then I might have to keep the money in the bank.
Take that, AJ. Um, what do you make of him adding Robert Garcia to the team ahead of the rematch?
We'll have to see really on Saturday night. I don't know how much I see he's still doing a lot of the work with Angel Fernandez. It seems on the pads and that, and
Hmm.
I haven't really seen much of the work that he's done with Garcia. So maybe it might be more of a mindset thing with him, with Garcia, maybe giving him some more sort of plan or confidence in certain things to do. I don't know. We'll have to see how it turns out.
Do you think that would be something you'd ever be open to, bringing in like an additional voice in the corner or in the gym, if your trainer was comfortable with it as well, of course?
Yeah, of course, you can never be naive and think that you know it all or everything's learned. If you feel like there's something to improve, you gotta in this game you gotta have all ears open. You know what I mean? So always looking to improve. There's always other avenues. Not everything will suit a certain person. Different things can always help.
And just to round off this part of the conversation, I'm going to have to press you for a prediction on the big fight, even though you might not be watching it. What do you expect to happen?
I'm not sure. The way I've seen it so far, I think Usyk can still do it again. To be honest, I think Usyk's gonna improve. I think they're both gonna improve, but I think Usyk is not a one-hit wonder kind of fighter like Andrew Ruiz was. He's gonna be someone that's improving even more on the performance. So edging towards Usyk, but we'll have to see.
And as for you, when are we likely to next see you out? When, you know, you've only been out a month ago, I know, but you're clearly still training, sparring. When are we going to see you
Yeah,
again?
yeah. I'm hoping. I'm pushing my managers to try and get me out end of September, October time. Staying active, staying busy. I've got to keep building my own profile, building my activity, and getting my face out there and climbing the rankings.
Fancy being on that Ben Eubank bill or Eubank Ben bill?
Yeah, that's something that I'm trying to give them a little push for. Hopefully, if we can get on that, that would be a great show to get on. So it's something I'd definitely be interested in.
Great stuff. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed
Yeah,
for you. And
yeah.
yeah, enjoy the rest of the sparring. I hope you get a lot out of it. And let's catch up again soon.